Okay, ma'am, can I have you say and spell your first and last name, please?
Yes, my name is Gia Rueda. It's G-I-A-R-U-E-D-A.
And what are we doing in the city of Temecula today?
I'm here today at the Duck Pond to show my support for the Temecula Valley Unified School District teachers. They're currently embattled with the new school board majority, just 3 of the 5, because 3 of the 5 have decided to disapprove the new textbooks for the K through 5 curriculum, their social studies books.
And I understand that you were there as they voted. What was your reaction when it didn't go that way that you thought it was going?
I wasn't at all surprised. It's exactly what I expected. This new school board majority has made it absolutely clear that that they have an agenda, and it appears to me and to many people that that agenda really involves answering to the dog whistle of the 412 Church and their pastor Tim Thompson. And this is clearly all part of that playbook.
And can you talk about why and how it's going to affect the students without the textbooks?
Yes, okay, so the problem is they didn't approve the textbooks. They say that it's about parental involvement, but we know that's really ridiculous because there have been ample opportunities for the parents in the district to provide feedback for the new curriculum. There has been a lot of vetting that has gone into this. 1,300 students have been through a pilot program. All of their parents have had an opportunity to respond. Not many parents did, but the bottom line is that is the vetting process. And in spite of the vetting process lasting 2 months instead of just a couple of weeks, the school board majority is claiming that they're claiming that the parents didn't have enough parental involvement, but there's been plenty of parental involvement. I believe that the real issue, and they made it clear when they started pontificating on the dais, to them it's all about their disgust with the mention of Harvey Milk. And when they started throwing out words like pedophile and groomer and pervert, it becomes painfully obvious that the real issue they had is the fact that that one of the books mentions Harvey Milk, but what they're not bothering to tell people is that it's in the teacher's manual, not the children's book, and it's only mentioned as supplemental reading material. So they're basically disapproving the textbooks because they have a problem with someone who happens to be gay. The way that that's going to affect the school is that, first of all, there's going to be probably at least $1 million fine for violation of the Williams Act, because the public schools have an obligation to provide books and resources to all children. And I also understand that there could be a loss of over $3 million in a textbook grant from the federal government. So this could cost the district over $4 million because they don't want a gay man mentioned in the teacher's manual of supplemental reading material.
If you had one message to the board, the city council, or just the people that live in the nearby community, what would you say? What would be that message be?
My message is get over it. I mean, over 71% of Americans support same-sex marriage, and that number's growing every year. Between 18 to 34-year-olds, that number is approaching a universal acceptance. You know, there was a time where people used religion to discriminate against black people, against interracial marriage, and we're over that now, mostly. And I'd like to see people just get over it. This should not be a political issue. This is a school issue. This is about giving students their books. There are local Christian churches that use this book, and they don't have a problem with it being mentioned in the teacher's material. So I guess my message is, just can't we get along? It's ridiculous to be making this more than it should be. This should be a very simple vote of accepting textbooks and letting kids continue to learn.
Okay, sir, can I have you say and spell your first and last name, please?
Brian Hawkins, BrianHawkins.
And what are we doing in the city of Temecula today, sir?
So I've been involved essentially from, back when Temecula Valley Unified School District banned critical race theory back in December. And so I've been following the patterns, essentially try to emulate what's happening in Florida. And just recently in Marietta Valley Unified School District, where they banned 3-2 against AP American History Study. And so there's been this consistency of trying to ban books, ban historical knowledge and teaching. And just recently here in Temecula Valley Unified School District, because the Harvey Milk being mentioned in the books, it's essentially now it's going from attack on blacks, critical race theory, AP history, to attack on the LGBTQ community. And I wanted to come out and be a support and say, we need to teach accurate history and teach it in its truest forms.
And can you talk about how that's going to affect the children not having these textbooks?
Yeah, Carter G. Woodson once said, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeating it. And at the end of the day, not being able to have textbooks, not being able to have accurate history being taught, it's the reason why the William Act was written and passed in law here in California, to be able to teach accurate history and the equal representation of all race, ethnicity, sexual orientation. And this right here is an direct violation of it. And as an elected official, I wanted to come out here and be a support of the Temecula Valley Unified School District, because I think this is bigger than Temecula. This is a movement that's going to happen Temecula, Corona, Norco, Palm Springs. And so I want to try to, stop this at its inception.
If you had a message to say, what would it be?
It's time to come to the table. America has an ugly past. We know that. We know the history of America from, the land that was stolen from the indigenous Native Americans to the transatlantic slave trade, to the Chinese Exclusion Act, just so many different things in American history. And so at the end of the day, we got to be honest about how we got here so we can really heal and move forward. And this is the United States of America, land of the free. And right now we're using language, we're using vote, we're using political positions to bind people up with the very Constitution that was written to free each and every individual that's here.
And then can you talk about the outcome that is out in the middle of this corner this afternoon?
Yeah, as you can see, we're just getting started. We're taking over half the corner so far. I know that there's going to be so many more people that's going to be on their way. And this is important. This is important, a show of unity. This is what it looks like when America comes together. We often hear, and I was just at the Board of Supervisors meeting this morning when they attempted to say that the election was stolen. Well, right here, we're showing that the people who wanted to get the right people in office to represent their children in the books, they're out here. And so the actual TVS-USD board, they should be out here listening to the people, because look, these are the students. These are the parents of the students. These are the parents of the students that voted to represent them. And so this is important. Image is everything, and watch this crowd grow, because we're going to get louder. And as Horton Hears Who said, we are here.
Thank you, sir.
You don't even live out here.